Back, taking your phone calls. 412-575-2600 is the number on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Also taking your tweets at Josh Taylor HD. Got a couple football-related tweets here. We have one from Jason saying, good to see Terrell Watson apparently make the roster. He is impressed all preseason. Got to agree with that one. There was another question from Jason. Actually, is there any realistic hope that next year will be any better for the Pirates? That might be our only Pirates question we've gotten all night. But what do you think? Any hope that it'll be better, Paul?
Better is a relative term.
I would probably come up with the same answer. That would be my answer.
What is their
What's
record
your definition
now?
of better?
What's their record now? 61-71 or something? What's their record now?
They're 9 games under, so I believe it will be 62-71 maybe.
62-71, something like that.
Right.
So based on what we've seen and based on the moves they've made and based on the fact that we're going to start to see a cavalcade of AAA players and the John Zeises of the world,
it's going to be audition.
They legitimately could go 62 and 100. I don't know if they're going to win another game. So if you're asking me, are they going to be better next year? Well, I think they can win more than 62 games.
There'll be a Garrett Cole and an Andrew McCutchen above being replacement level.
There's a lot of question marks in this offseason. And if you trade either McCutchen or Garrett Cole, I don't see how you're better next year.
I would agree with that. The talent they have in this roster obviously needs to be added to, but if you're taking the bigger pieces of talent and moving those, then it changes the outlook altogether. Back to the phone lines. Mark in Clearfield. Mark actually wants to talk about the Pirates. Mark, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call, and I love the show.
Appreciate you.
I'm going to make an observation and then a question. I've been a diehard Pirate fan. I'm 41 years old, and I really started watching them when Jim Leland took over as the head coach. My observation is that if you look at the last 30 years, the Pirates have had 7 winning seasons in 30 years. 7. My question to you guys is this. With everything that is going on with their management and the fact that they looks like that they just don't want to put a team on there to win, where do you see the Pirates in 1, 3, or 5 years from now? And do you see the Pirates making a World Series in our lifetime? I'll hang up and listen to your call.
Well, I don't want to seem like I'm sounding too negative or too forceful. We just told you that we didn't know what to look for in the next year. Paul and I are sitting there trying to figure out what next year might look like. I don't know if I can see 3 years down the road right now. I mean, next year is going to be a measure in and of itself, trying to put some kind of a semblance of a competent team together. 3 years down the road, that's too cloudy in the looking glass for me, Paul. I don't know.
Well, a couple of things. One, it's been since 1979 since they've won a playoff series. So that's bad. 2, we're talking about 3 winning seasons in 25 years, which I think is really hard to do. And 3, I think as long as Theo Epstein is in Chicago, and as long as the Cardinals are in their division, it's going to be hard for them to win a division and therefore probably hard for them to win a World Series.
I've had this feeling for a while. You can't out Theo, and you can't out Cardinal the Cardinals. That's pretty much where it stands. One more call before we go to break. Harry and Elizabeth. Harry, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Okay, what do you think Pitt's chances are to win up at Penn State?
Good question, and I will say this much. I think they were a lot better last year. I thought their chances were a lot stronger last year. And you and I talked about this game, Paul, going into last year when the night before these two teams met. We talked about it, and I expected it to be a low-scoring game, ended up being a high-scoring game. I totally missed on that. But I also think that Pitt's chances were better last year because they had more veteran leadership. They had a much better offensive game plan, I thought, for Matt Canada. There's kind of a drop-off to Sean Watson. That's nothing against Sean Watson. Matt Canada's pretty good at what he does. So I'd say their chances are definitely lesser than they were in that last year. And they're on the road in the place.
I would say the roles are reversed. Last year, Penn State was the younger team with a bunch of inexperienced guys. Absolutely. And early in the game,
first-year starting quarterback.
You know what I mean? First-year quarterback, a bunch of young players all over the place. But guess what? They're all back and a year more experienced. Last year, the Pitt was the team that had a bunch of experienced players. Now, this year, they've got a really, a pretty young team if you look around. And I consider, even though Max Brown is a fifth-year senior, he's the first-time quarterback for them.
Right.
They've got a new quarterback. They've got 3 new linemen. They've got, they don't have James Conner. I mean, you could go on and on. The Ewan Price is not there. I mean, they've got a lot of places that they have to fill holes.
All right, we got to take a break. We got to wrap up when we come back here, so stick around.